Thank you so much for joining us today. Christine, would you like to share with us the perspective on sustainability from the luxury industry, given that Kering represents such a stellar portfolio of brands?
It's not only the moral responsibility of a company to behave responsibly in the way they're doing business, but it's also important for the long-term sustainability of the business. We're very focused on sourcing high-quality raw materials from natural ecosystems like our cashmere, our wool, our leather. So we have a very strong tie to those ecosystems, to preserving that biodiversity.
We are all in the fashion business, and unfortunately, it's the second most polluting industry in the world. So we believe that we have a mission that goes way beyond business. Fashion is more than just looking good. It's about doing what is right and feeling good about it. And we as a fashion brand have that responsibility and that commitment to educate our consumers. What does sustainability mean across the whole supply chain and across the whole brand?
In a company which was born in 1880, I mean, sustainability represents the challenge of being relevant for the customer every year. And day by day, we were able to reduce 30% of our CO2 emissions just really in 1 year, and also to get the 80% of our energy supply by renewable resources.
We've developed a natural capital accounting methodology called the environmental profit and loss, which takes all of our impacts across our different supply chains, all of our raw materials and processes, and looks at different environmental indicators like air pollution, water use, land use, CO2 emissions, and then it's converted into a monetary figure. So if we had to write a check to Mother Nature for all of the impact that our work has on the world, what would the amount of that check be? So this is a tool that really enables us to speak about it in financial terms. They're EP&L dollars, but still it's a language that business people are used to using. Some of these issues are big systemic issues. No one company, brand, retailer can address them alone. And it's really through that power of collaboration.
We already know that 90% of the impact is done at the design stage of that product. So besides our using low impact materials, ensuring that there is a timeless and essential design, as well as the least amount of number of processes will have an impact on the value chain.
A track record of data giving us the certainty that we are profitable when we are sustainable. That means that if we do invest in design and use approximately 90% less of water in producing denim. We use other techniques like laser.
One key challenge that comes up again and again is closing the loop when it comes to handling towards the end of life or extending life or reuse.
In terms of innovation and how to address the end of life, you have different recycling techniques. We're seeing a number of innovators that are looking at the chemical recycling piece. So how can you take a blended polycotton fabric and break that down into the virgin polyester pellets and the virgin cellulosic? So everything around the resale, the rental. How can we keep things in use and circulated instead of putting them in a landfill? So the more soft tech, retail, resale, new business model focused innovations, one of the critical principles that we are looking at is how do we regenerate soil? So how do we source from regenerative farming?
There's been a lot in the fashion press, for example, about the shift in the business model in fashion from a season-based to a more a flexible model.
We've seen this rapid acceleration toward digital innovation. So how can we allow the customer to do virtual fit or shopping from a distance? At a couple of our brands, Gucci notably and Saint Laurent, have publicly announced that they're going to not follow the traditional fashion show schedule going forward.
We always emphasize that we are not circular economy yet until we actually close the loop.
And that also helps to have the network as active as possible in order to avoid to destroy material when it's not usable for recycling. I mean, it's to relocate the stock. What we are seeing is a very intense acceleration of omnichannel. It's a pattern that will last forever. I mean, has come here to stay. It's not just a consequence of the COVID.
We've also seen this omnichannel aspect, a trend that is going to stay. We found this technology that it's basically photocatalytic treatment that kills virus and bacteria, and that it also eradicates pollution. No? So in a simple way, it cleans the air. So we've been investing a lot of time in exploring this.
One of the pitfalls of commerce is the high level of returns, which has obviously significant environmental impact in packaging and carbon.
We're doing a couple of pilots on packaging and plastic poly bags. It's closing the loop on our poly bags so that we can use the new recycled poly bags made from our own waste.
We understand that medium to long-term commitments and partnerships are essential to share that vision with the supply chain in order to try to really to support them for the long term, because they will support you in the long term as well.
How do companies avoid the trap of greenwashing?
Do initiatives in biodiversity, in campaigns, in with environmental impact. This is something that you can show and that you can really track on.
About what you do, it's about how you do it, because there's 1,000 brands, 1,000 products out there, but it's about how you're doing it and making sure that you're generating the least amount of waste.
Be collecting that data and be able to actually back it up in a sort of scientific way, saying this is what we've done. We can show through the numbers. Nobody's perfect. We're not perfect. If you start saying you're perfect, that's when you're going to get in trouble on the greenwashing.
Reaching across the entire supply chain is a continuous effort, a cultural effort, and one that will ultimately benefit all people, from consumers to producers through to the end shareholder, who ultimately will benefit with the longevity of the industry.